Well, that is an unexpected surprise. There is some light rain. It just started. It's wetting the area a little bit. You can hardly see it. So it's that cloud. Something is something. It's better than nothing. So that should help a little bit. But it's really not rain as we should receive at this time of year. And it's already stopping again. So that lasted maybe 5 minutes. This here is the back part of our Paddock B03. It is not a paddock that we use frequently for the cattle. We mostly bring the horses in here and of course the sheep while they are still there. The sheep right now are there in the background. There you can see them. We have removed the rams, so it's only the females and the two very young ones, in preparation of removing them completely. And here in this area we have the mustard, and yes, they have 4 leaves or 4 petals, so that apparently is mustard. And what you can also see is little clumps like this one here, and there in the back there is another one. This has now 43 days without seeing any animals, and the grass has come up very nicely. And I will now go into this area and show you a little bit more details as close-ups. This is an interesting detail. It has not rained, and at least not significantly. So there was a shower, lasted 5 minutes. And all this water that you see here is our grey water. So it's basically mostly the shower. And then of course the washing machine and the laundry machine and all that. So this has filled up just by us, basically. Now, if it were to rain for real, the rain that we have not received the whole winter, it is maybe half of what we used to get, then this probably would be full, and we would be able to maintain it with the water that comes through the house. So right now the dishwasher is working, and this is the discharge from it. So I'm here in the right moment. And as I mentioned before, the idea is to line it with vetiver, so that vetiver here, that is at the lower laying part, we will harvest this. Now that the temperatures are rising, once we are above 10 centigrades, we will then replant this and put it all around. And then we probably need to also have a little bit of drip irrigation to help it along in the beginning, before the roots are then large enough. And the idea is to use water plants like, well, vetiver is not really a water plant, but it does the job, and it can be in water only. And also the duckweed to purify the water and obtain material for the fermented pig feed that we want to try out. But of course we need to have enough water in here, and without the rain I have my doubts how this will go. Because if I go to a little bit to the other side, you will see that here there is no water. The water goes all the way to here, but of course it's pretty deep, anticipating the rain, and the rain has not come yet, so we will see how that goes. Those clouds up there, they look like it could rain, but there is none in the forecast. So maybe we get another quick shower and that's it. Better than nothing. But real rain is yet to come. People are getting scared because of the water reservoirs. They have not filled up. It's a huge problem. So here is one of the things that I wanted to show you here in B3. So you see all the mustard, and if I pan down, you can see there are these nice looking flowers, but from the top you see that the soil is in bad shape, and that is why the mustard is there. So I believe that is nature's repair crew, and they show up whenever there is an opportunity, but it's not really nice to have. So we rather have nice grass instead of those mustards. And I will now go into this area and show you a little bit more. Maybe we can do this walking. So wherever there is a lot of manure, like here, that grass is growing very well. And there in these areas, it is growing extremely well and dense. And of course it would have been much nicer with a lot of birds, be it the magpies or chicken, to distribute all the manure much better, because we still have it here on the surface. But it certainly is working. You can see how well this looks. And this is how all the land could be after 43 days. Oh, look at that. That is a beautiful sight. And this area here used to be in very bad shape, because the pigs of the previous owner have been roaming freely, and they left this area barren. And now it is coming back like that. And of course the trees also help with their shade. And there is a connection, so the Encina, the home oak, seems to have a mycorrhizal fungi symbiotic relationship, and that helps. So this is looking very nice. And there in the background there is the other effect. So hopefully it doesn't shake too much. So there is a lot of nettles that we have also seen in other parts where there was a lot of nitrogen out of the horse manure. So this area is developing well. The fencing around is still of a temporary character, because when we got the horses, in a few hours before the horses arrived, I put up quickly a few fence posts and attached the white band. And then later, because of the sheep, we added the wire mesh, and it's not really installed like it should be. So there is no tension in it. It just wobbles around, but it did the job. And when we now have an opportunity, it's not on the high priority list, then we make this installation a little bit better looking. So we now started to get some thicker fence posts to make some H and L shapes for the end pieces, and then we put a string up to have the trajectory and do this in the proper way. But here and there you have to do a temporary thing just to get going. And we are not in the business of building fences. The fences are there to make other things easier. The alternative would be to hurt the animals, but that requires human presence 24/7. So we rather have some odd-looking fences that keep the animals out or in, and over time we then make it right. Of course, it's more work and it costs more, but it is distributed. And whenever you have an investment that is distributed over time, it's a trickle, it doesn't really hurt that much, and you can reap early benefits, while in the other case you have to finance the right thing up front and maybe then learn here and there that it was the wrong decision. So pick your poison, basically. And here in this case it is better to have had this holding area here for the horses, and now it still works. We have our cattle in here and there, so nobody will leave. But of course, now that this area there is open, when we plant the vetiver, we will also take care of the fencing. So the fence will loop around, and let me go there so that I can show you this. So the tree there will be fenced off, and then this tree that looks dead but it seems to be coming back, this will be inside of the paddock, so behind the tree the fence will go, and then the fence will end at the right side of the gate, so that we can bring the animals in but have the other area excluded. And of course we also need to put up the new fence along the animal lane, because right now this area is completely opened. It is completely open on both sides, but we have it closed there with the gate, and on the other side we used a piece of fencing or wire mesh so that nobody comes in here ahead of time, because this had now 43 days of no animal visit, so it worked. And we can bring the horses in here in a few days so that they can take advantage of the forage. Right now they are in the at the vehicle lane at the driveway in our zone A, and they have eaten everything that was there, and now it is time to come back. Let's go and check out the herd. Maybe we find a new calf. So this one here has definitely not given birth, and we might be able to see by looking at her from the back that she is definitely not pregnant, because it would show. So let's go here. There is Mr. Bull, one of the big ones. There's the other bull, and the third one. So here are two calves. They are drinking milk, at least the white one does. The white one happens to be a little bull. So we can start counting. So here is one. There's two. There is three. See, what are behind them? The little one is hiding. No, doesn't seem to be. So let's see whom we have over there. So that was 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And behind the cow there is number 10. 10 is the count that we had yesterday. So there you see number 10. This one is all alone there. That is what they do in order to give birth. But I'm not really sure whether she is there for that reason or not. Because she looks a bit skinny. But there is another one. So let's go closer and check it out. So there in the sun, there is the new one. And looking at the head, it already looks like a little bull. And based on the, yeah, and that is apparently mama. 9713, there you can see. This is how it looks like after they have given birth. And I believe this is a little bull calf. Yeah, it seems to be the case. I have seen some tactical between his legs. He's tiny, but then the mama isn't big either. So let's move around. Here's the little guy. And that definitely is a bull calf. The shape in the head is different. So that means we have now 11. And the guys are leading. They are leading by 1 count. And it hasn't been long, which is why this stuff is still hanging out. So now all he has to do is drink enough milk and go. As in the news of today, they were talking a lot about lack of water and that most water reservoirs are only filled some 23%. I went to check out ours. This looks pretty full. So there is no shortage of water here for us. But then this is not used for irrigation like all the others. And they were talking about the others. This is the one that got built for irrigation and then never used for it. So it's a good thing for us because it means these 44 hectares of surface with all that water do have an effect on the surrounding terrain. And that is why at a certain depth we do have water. We just have to loosen up the soil and grow roots so that we can actually take advantage of it. So the area around here could be very, very good, but of course it's a question of management. The thing that we keep talking about. So this is how Buenas Hierbas looks like. That's the name of this water reservoir. And there in the distance there is someone sitting. Maybe I can zoom in. And this person there is fishing. So there are fish in here, and this is also officially a place designated to freshwater fishing. It is a nice place, and it sits on private property, so left and right that is private property, and here and there are animals. The plants used to be different, and the government took the 44 hectares of land away to build this. But I would guess the current owners could definitely benefit from the existence of all this water, but I doubt that they're actually doing it. I would love to meet them, but as I hear, it's also an absent landowner. Out of curiosity, I went a little bit down here. So that is the driveway that leads here, and I'm standing below the dam wall, and I want to have a look at the outflow. That must be somewhere there. There is some installation, and I will check it out. There is water flowing here. I also see some slow flow of water down there. Camera focuses on the wire mesh of the fence, but I'm pretty sure you can hear it. So maybe on the other side there's more to see. I'm not sure whether that is really the outflow or just a part next to it, because in case they really need to let go water, this looks very narrow. So let's see what else is around. Yes, so this down there looks more like it. So if I zoom, if I pen here in this direction, you can see this looks more like a tiny creek or tiny river, a small creek. So I probably go left again, somewhere there where the dam is. So what I just showed you might just be an auxiliary facility, because I can go down here. It's a bit steep. This is almost like vlogging what I'm doing now. It's not really my intention to do, but today seems to be a good opportunity. So where should I go? Let's go here. So yeah, so this definitely is what I had been looking for. And there it goes up hill again. So I probably want to go there. where it starts. It's my first time exploring the water reservoir. So that's quite a funny thing. So this goes up there. Can hardly see it because of the sun. And there. And then there's this. And there's a dribble of water that is coming out of the ground here. I would have expected something more like a pipe, but it might be that the area where I'm standing can get flooded by something further ahead. I also wonder what these things are for. So let's go uphill there, because up there I also see some concrete structures. But as I will probably edit this out anyway, I will turn it off and turn it on when I'm at the top. So I came from down there, and yes, this up here definitely is what I have been looking for. So this is the actual outflow, and it is made to let a lot of water rush down. So there is the spillway, and this pipe here seems to be to let some of the water out. I wonder why they direct this into that direction. So it appears that this down there somehow is leaking and is not really the actual spillway. And now that I'm here, we are somewhere over there. So let me turn around and see if I can show you more of that spillway. So here is it, that is the top. And you can see it is dry. Well, it's not dry, it is moist, but there isn't really any water flowing. And I would think that when the level rises more, then these plants get washed away. And it might happen when we now really get a lot of rain. And that is when in our entrance we also see the big wave. Like one time, I think it was in March, we actually had to drive through a lot of water. So it was back then in the big pickup truck, the Ford F-150, and we really had the water up to the level of the doors. So that was very exciting. I can drive up a little bit on a hill right next to this water reservoir, and if I now pan to the right, there is a little bit more to be seen. So what is coming into view there in the distance is what's called La Garganta. That is a hunting area. Supposedly it belongs to UK's royalty. And the house that you see there, let me zoom in a little bit. That is a house that shows up on the map. It has a name, but I forgot. So this is someone who has this building there for a very long time. And they are doing some ranching, pigs, sheep, goats, and of course also cows. I don't know these people. Might be interesting, but it's a larger operation. So this way it shakes less. And we are basically behind that. That water reservoir is about 2 kilometers as the bird flies from us. So it's not very far. So I basically drive to the public road, drive 500 meters further down, and then I'm basically there. And there's also a power line going here across this land. So there you can see one of the little posts or towers. It is not a very high capacity line. I've been actually toying with that idea to sell solar power, because I have a thought that we can basically put a solar roof on top of all our animal lanes, and based on my rough calculations we could generate up to 8 megawatts. It could be interesting, but then of course first I need to find someone interested in buying it, and that requires an investment. I have tried to touch base with a few, but there was either no response or not really interested. So seems to be difficult. You might have been spotting that white car driving by. That is the public road that connects Asuel and Conquista.